In the news tonight, Sevens gold is for Fiji, says Baber. Struggles to second gold for our skipper. And Fijians unite to celebrate gold victory.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
Ulunaka, Fiji. The Fiji national sevens team has dedicated the gold medal win at the Tokyo Olympic Games to the country as it battles the COVID-19 pandemic. Fiji beat New Zealand 27-12 last night to win the second ever gold in the Olympics.
That game plan worked, and all the players contributed to that, not just in the final but through the 3 days. So yeah, it's sort of it's a job well done, and that's sort of how you sort of dust yourself down and walk away, is that you got out of it what you came in for.
He led Fiji last night to win gold in rugby sevens at the Tokyo Games, and in the process became the first ever player in the world to do it twice. However, what many don't realize is Jerry Tuwai had gone through a lot in the last few months. First, he was away from his loved ones, and second, he had to bring his parents together because their family house in Newtown, Nasinu, was destroyed in a cyclone. Aquila Dama reports.
Being away from your family is not easy, especially when you have young kids.
Our kids mean a lot to us, and same goes for Jerry, because normally he would be away for weeks but not months. However, my daughter-in-law and I told him to hang in there.
Many know the maestro grew up in this house in Newtown, Nasinu, but after it was destroyed in a cyclone this year, the national hero made sure he and his wife didn't leave his parents behind.
His dad told him, Jerry, you have a family now and you need to look after them. Leave us because your siblings are here. But he said, wherever I go, I will take you with me. Jerry is still the same from his childhood days up till now. He hasn't changed.
Tuai's emotional dad shared what they went through after the final whistle.
We were watching the game last night in tears. It was tears of joy because we are thankful for what he has done for our country.
And the victory of the Fiji's men's sevens rugby team in clinching gold at the Olympics for the second time was felt across the nation last night as neighborhoods came to life despite COVID-19. As the final whistle sounded, cheers of joy and even songs of happiness echoed through the night, a temporary bliss for a nation battling the coronavirus. Koroi Tandulala files this report.
People in their own bubble cheered on from their balconies, hoisting the Fijian flag high. Others took to the street despite the curfew as they couldn't contain their joy.
Fiji's performance was incredible. I was at the edge of my seat throughout the game, and with each try followed with a scream of joy throughout our neighborhood. The win is exactly what we needed, and the players did not disappoint.
Children joined their parents in the celebration as the win was a break from reality for the thousands of Fijians suffering from the impact of COVID-19.
Victory has brought back the joyful in the country. So yes, it was a memorable one, and the country is filled with happiness.
Bring the goal home! The win was much needed for our nation, which for the past 3 months has been only getting daily negativity. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
The 2021 and 2022 national budget has been passed by Parliament this afternoon. There was no opposition to the motion moved by the Minister for Economy, Sayed Kayum, for the appropriation bill to get the go-ahead. This means all budget estimates and allocations come into effect from August 1st. The government is open to the possibility of rewarding frontline workers when Fiji is in a financial and economic position to do so. Minister for Economy Sayed Kayum said this in response to opposition MP Lenora Ngerengere-Tambua, who moved a motion to allocate $1 million as risk pay. The NFP member says frontliners are putting their lives at risk and deserve recognition. But Sayed Kayum says for now, the government is doing all it can with the funds it has.
With so many of them becoming sick, so many of them needing hospitalization, I really would like to ask this House to vote in favor of this increase to personal emoluments to the public health services staff. so that they are able to have some financial security.
There's no denying that we want to be able to reward them. We want to be they've been publicly recognized, and in the future, God willing, if everybody gets vaccinated, the economy picks up, then we have the ability to go back and help people and perhaps reward them financially if we're in that, we have the capacity to do that.
The government adds it's aware of the sacrifices of frontline workers and has many times publicly commended those involved.
This is a challenging time. We're asking our staff, and I'm sure all other ministries are asking their staff to be able to be patriotic, to be able to get us through this.
They are patriotic already. People have been standing on the checkpoints now for more than 1 year. Teams have been going out for vaccination more than 1 year. They're not going to see their family.
Geringere Tambua had also proposed additional funding for mental health due to COVID-19. Both motions were defeated. And to our latest COVID-19 update, Fiji had 1,057 new COVID-19 infections for the period ending 8 a.m. yesterday. The Health Ministry also recorded 12 new COVID-19 deaths between the 24th and the 27th of this month. Fiji has recorded 26,126 cases since April of this year. There are now 19,168 active cases in isolation, with 6,706 recoveries in total. The COVID-19 death toll stands at 218. The vaccination campaign continues. As of earlier today, 464,291 or 79.1% of the target population has received their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. 120,437 or 20.5% have received their second dose. The 5 most vaccinated areas include Mba and Rewa, which are 100% first jabbed. Next are Nanonga, Naitasiri and Nandi. And Inoke Vola of Vudinosori has got his first jab to assist Fiji get back to normalcy soon. Up ahead, medical students not in direct contact. And budget is not dishonest, says Minister. Welcome back. Final year students from the Fiji National University are helping in data processing and are not looking after COVID-19 patients. Minister for Health Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete says it was vital to engage them as the ministry is facing challenges. Dr. Wangainambete says there are issues with the turnaround time of the testing results. Kritika Kumar reports.
The Health Minister says they are in discussion with the TISI Sangam as well and have looked at some of the graduates who can be brought in to assist the ministry.
And we are we've asked them to have some of their final year student doctors help us with the backhand data processing. As you may be aware, we've had some issues where we are testing so many people.
Dr. Wangainambete says they are also putting their staff on rotational shift.
We're looking at a system of actually being able to provide a rotational basis for our staff. We have staff from Lotoka and Lambasa that are currently in Suba supporting female.
Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong had earlier highlighted that they have reorganized the PPE distribution program to make it readily available to all healthcare workers.
3 months of this outbreak, we have transitioned from having our healthcare teams working in work bubbles during the containment phase to our current mitigation phase strategy of escalating the infection prevention and control measures.
The ministry has received a $25 million allocation specifically dedicated for COVID-19 response for testing, isolation, quarantine and vaccination drive. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The Australian and New Zealand medical assistance team currently in Fiji will be assisting the Ministry of Health by providing public health policy advice for both the Central and Western divisions. Mission team leader Dan Holmes says they also aim to assist the ministry manage Fiji's healthcare system and ensure effective hospital setups to cater for the growing number of patients. Gareth Baber reports.
The ANZ Med team will also carry on from the work that was carried out by the AusMed team last month in strengthening Fiji's healthcare system.
We've also been able to, I guess, give some advice to the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and the High Commission from Australia in order to get some equipment in, which I think is vital for Fiji as it manages this surge of COVID. There's been some quite complex things and complex equipment that we've got.
Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wanganambete says Fiji's healthcare system has been stretched and they have sought assistance from the Fiji National University.
We've asked them to have some of their final year student doctors help us with the backhand data processing.
The ANZ Med team leader says together with the ministry, they will explore ways to ease the burden in managing hospitals.
You get an increase in patients and you're trying to change your system, so the hospital systems are not always set up for having large numbers of patients within a single infectious disease. In fact, I would say they're never normally set up for that. So that's a really unusual situation.
The team from Australia and New Zealand will also provide assistance in ensuring that patients are cared for, at the same time working towards minimizing the spread of COVID-19. Gareth Baber, FBC News.
Attorney General Asa Edkayum has hit out at opposition MP William Ngavoka for saying that the 2021-2022 budget is dishonest. Questioning the ongoing construction in police stations around the country, Ngavoka says the government should get away from a programming budget during this difficult time and help Fijians survive. Sanya Nimboila reports.
Over $26 million has been allocated for the ongoing construction works, renovation, extension and upgrade of police posts, stations and quarters. And William Ngavoka says this is not the right time.
We should be going on zero budgeting, not this program budgeting. You talk about all these huge sums that are on request. It's all inflated. We need to face reality. We need to live today for the next 3 or 4 months to support our people.
The economy minister says allocations have been set aside to cater for the relevant agreements made.
Honorable Ngavoka is obviously just wandering in the woods. The contracts regarding Nakasi, Nandi and Lautoka police stations have already been signed. Works have already commenced. 51% completed, 81% completed. 65% completed. There are people on the job sites. There are people working on the job sites. And these payments need to be made. We have a contractual obligation.
The motion to approve Head 20 of the Fiji Police Force was agreed in Parliament. The force is allocated a total of $184.3 million in the 2021-2022 budget. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
Meanwhile, construction continues for the Nakasi, Nandi, Lautoka and Nalawa police stations. Work on the Nakasi police station is 51% complete and is expected to be fully complete by March next year at a total cost of $35.9 million. Work on the Nandi police station is at 81% and the Lautoka police station is expected to be complete by December. $150,000 has been allocated for the upgrade of the Nasese dog kennel. Defence Minister Inia Seruiratu says another $1 million will help in the renovation, extension and upgrade of police posts, stations and quarters.
Hopefully, and we will be able to complete these stations, Lautoka, Nandi, and of course Nakasi, except for Nalawa, probably that will go into the next financial year as well, but that is progressing well, and because of the contracts that have been signed.
And later in sports, Baber's wife revels in the moment. First up in business, the World Exchange Congress that was to be hosted in Fiji by the South Pacific Stock Exchange has been cancelled. The SPX says the decision was made in consultation with the Terrapin Holdings Limited being the international event manager for the Congress. The Congress was initially planned to be held between the 2nd and the 4th of June last year, however was postponed in March due to the pandemic. The Congress involves international delegates from multiple countries as attendees and speakers. Chair Dr. Nurbanu Ali says in view of the current circumstances and the travel restrictions, the SPX has decided to cancel the Congress. The BSP Financial Group Limited has launched its newly designed corporate website bsp.com.fj. BSP Fiji country head Harun Ali says the new design offers a refreshed look with enhanced features that align with the group's objective of delivering seamless digital banking solutions within Fiji and across the world. Ali adds the website has a modern design that adapts its display to any mobile device and provides an improved functionality. He adds it will boost the user experience while serving as an effective service delivery channel for internet banking, daily foreign exchange rates, safety and operational notices, among other things. BSP has 121 ATMs, over 2,100 FPOS terminals, 16 branches and 40 postal agencies in Fiji. And here are the local exchange rates as set this morning. The Fiji dollar had a mixed day on the stock exchange, losing ground against the Chinese yuan and the Aussie dollar, while holding strong against the Kiwi dollar and the Japanese yen. It remained steady against the US greenback and the PNG kina. The commodities were on the rise across the board. Crude oil rose a few dollars to $72 a barrel. Gold rose to end at $1,815 per ounce. And silver improved, closing at $25.31 an ounce. And time now for Sharon to give us the latest on the markets.
Good evening. This morning, the U.S. Federal Reserve held its benchmark interest rate near zero and said the economy continues to progress despite concerns over the rising COVID-19 cases. Despite the optimism about the economy, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that the central bank is nowhere near considering a rate hike. The US dollar saw a bit of spike soon after the announcement, but later normalized to earlier levels. Elsewhere, the British pound was up 0.15% against the US dollar, holding near a two-week high. Analysts are attributing this firm tone to COVID-19 cases in Britain declining over the past 7 days. The Chinese yuan pulled away from three-month lows, making a modest bounce. However, the risk-sensitive Aussie and Kiwi dollars were both subdued as sentiment remained fragile. Tomorrow again will be a busy morning for the traders as the second quarter GDP numbers for the US will be released. According to Dow Jones, economists expect to see the US GDP growth at an annual rate of 8.4% after growing by 6.4% in the first quarter. Well, let's see how that turns out, but for now, that's all from your HFC Bank. Vinaka.
Dollar Things continues to support the economy through its investment, opening a new shop in Fiji despite the current situation. Director Andy Yu says the newly opened shop at Damodar City in Suva is their third branch in Viti Levu, and they've invested around $2 million in establishing their shops. The new shop also provides a lifeline for 10 Fijians who are able to secure a job during these trying times. Yu says they plan to employ 20 people at the shop when things return to normal. He adds their second shop in Nandi is ready to open, but the COVID-19 pandemic has delayed plans. The director adds they plan to open more shops across the country once Fiji is free of the coronavirus. Coming up after the break, a son of Naronga inspires Rugby Town. Stay with us. Welcome back. Senegalese rock climbers say their sport is under threat from coastal erosion because of a construction boom in the country. Luxury hotels are built close to a once untouched shoreline, taking away land and eroding well-worn climbing routes. The only wish that Ratu Chosua Vakurunambili's family in Vatukarasa village, Dhonua Nanonga, could now have is for his father to still be alive and witness his milestone accomplishment. Speaking to FBC News, Vakuranambili's mother, Andi Mere Vindovi, says her late husband had always been a pillar of strength ever since Ratu Chosua was selected to join various local rugby clubs right up to the time he donned the national jumper. Details with Josiah Nanunga.
I can never be so proud of my son's performance over the past few days. His sacrifices and patience have finally paid off.
Andy Mere says donning the National Rugby Sevens jumper is not new in the family.
I wish my husband is still around to see how far the two boys have come. Rugby is in our blood, and I continue to thank the Lord for his provisions.
Powerful song, especially using the Nandronga dialect.
Families and friends in Watu Karasa village plans to celebrate Ratu Chosua's achievement upon his return from Japan over the next few days. Jose Nanunga, FBC News.
Disney's new movie is Jungle Cruise, based on its popular theme park ride and starring Emily Blunt and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is the latest film to test the durability of theatres against the comfort of streaming. Coming up, Nawaka comes to a standstill and then dancing breaks out. And Waningolo family still taking it all in. This and more coming up. Welcome back. National Sevens head coach Gareth Baber will have to consult his family first before making a decision about his future. Since the Olympic Games was postponed, the Fiji Rugby Union extended his contract for another year, which will expire in December. Aquila Dama reports.
The Welshman says he has to be certain with his decision.
It's also, a big responsibility to take on the expectation of a nation to carry on in the position that this is. And I only ever do anything 100%. If there's any doubt in my head, I won't take it. And I want to be certain that if and when the commitment happens, and if the FRU want me to continue, and there's agreement there, that I do it properly.
FRU Chief Executive John O'Connor says they'll wait for Baber to return.
He is asked to return to Europe to see his family since we haven't seen them in the last 7 months physically. We will then return home and then we will discuss, what his intentions are.
It was a proud moment for the Nderenalangi family in Nawaka Nandi last night as the Fiji Sevens team won gold at the Olympics. Speaking to FBC Sports, Meli Nderenalangi's father, Ratu Vuniani Nderenalangi, also known as the White Shark in his playing days, says it was an exceptional performance by the team that brought smiles to every Fijian. Philippe Naikaso caught up with the family last night.
Will definitely be a memorable one for his family in Nawaka.
Something that the family will always be proud of, especially getting that first crucial try, and I just want to thank my son and the team for a marvelous job.
Dubbed the White Shark during his playing days for Fiji, Ratu Vuniani says it was an emotional moment for their family as the journey has been tough. The Nderenalangi family also managed to speak to Meli last night after the final just to congratulate him.
Everyone was looking forward to the final, and we know that for 1 year the players have been giving it their all during training.
I know that the win will be memorable for all the players as they have tirelessly worked hard during the preparation stages.
Meanwhile, Nawaka village came to life right after the final whistle as cheers erupted. Villagers started to celebrate, shouting and dancing as Fiji defended its gold medal. A number of Fijians then proceeded onto the road, singing their hearts out in jubilation. For a moment, worries from the pandemic had vanished as people were in a celebration mood. Philippe Naikaso, FBC News.
And 22-year-old Chuita Waningolo's family are still trying to digest last night's gold medal win at the Tokyo Games. Chuita Waningolo, who is the youngest among 6 siblings, always dreamt of playing with Jerry Tuwai and Semirandrandra, and it didn't take him long to achieve those dreams. Waningolo started as a soccer player, however switched to rugby. Pranita Prakash reports.
Chuita Waningolo's father, Nemiya Waningolo, whose happiness was clearly visible when FBC News visited him today, says his phone has been buzzing with congratulatory messages since last night.
We are very happy, and we just thank our Lord that they give Chuita the strength, and we can't believe it. We can't believe it. All of the family was calling last night and till this morning. Well, thanks for the wonderful game they did last night.
I'm so proud of the team too. It's through discipline and hard work and teamwork, like they said, teamwork makes the dream work. We can make a lobo big feast for him.
Waningolo Sr. says the win is special for all Fijians around the country, considering the ongoing battle with the COVID-19 pandemic. He says even if it was for a short span, Fijians were able to forget and celebrate the win. Waningolo Jr. is off to France for the top 14, having signed for Toulon, and we sure will miss seeing him with the great smile and moustache in our 7th jump up. Pranita Prakash, FBC Sports.
And Asaeli Tuivuaka, dubbed the Tank, is another player who will go down in the history books, winning gold at the Tokyo Olympics in Japan last night. After leaving Year 12, he expressed his interest to join Namosi Rugby, and since then there's been no looking back. Tuivuaka's performance in the Tokyo Games has been outstanding, making his family in Naitonitoni Navua extremely proud. Pranita Prakash again.
This was the atmosphere in Tuivuaka's house last night. His cousin says they cheered the team as if they were also in Japan.
We were so excited how his performance was so good, and yes, we think he's capable and he did it best.
Tuivuaka's performance has also earned him a new name and has been labelled as Mike Tyson of rugby, something which his family also agrees to.
We feel that he's tough, and the way he played, it suits the name that the commentator has given him.
The family is now eagerly awaiting for his return. Pranita Prakash, FBC Sports.
And Coach Gareth Baber's wife Danielle says it's been a while since she's seen her husband smile the way he did last night after winning gold in Tokyo. The past few months have been challenging for Baber and his family, having been away from each other for more than 7 months. Karalaini Tavi reports.
For us, a lot of emotion, and like I said, I don't like to watch it with other people. The expectation is so high, the emotion's right, and the margins in 7s, it's a roller coaster, isn't it,
Daniela says the wait is now over as they look forward to being reunited again.
I had faith that they would do it, but for them to have actually achieved it. And for Gareth, I'm so happy. He rang us immediately from the stadium when they finished, and I haven't seen him smile so much for a long time.
Being away from home has been a sacrifice Baber has had to make on the journey to get a podium win.
I haven't seen my family for 7 months. It's time I went back and was a father and a husband for a while, and I feel particularly guilty when I go off around the world and do the things that I do, but I have a family who have strong bonds, and I couldn't do this if it wasn't for them.
And to our player of the day, it has to be the Fiji Sevens team winning gold in Tokyo, and this, the moment that sent Fiji into raptures. Our quirky sport of the day. How about we do some underwater football? That's it from sports. Coming up, I'll have your weather update. Cloudy periods with some showers were experienced over some parts of the country today. Looking at the west, breezy this morning, otherwise humid with partial sunshine. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers. In the north, periods of cloud and sunshine. Places we are looking at will be Mba, Rakiraki and Singatoka. Rakiraki had the highest humidity at 80%. At sea, moderate to fresh southeasterly winds, moderate to rough seas. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 10:50 p.m. with low tide at 5 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:34. For tomorrow, cloudy periods with some showers over Kandavu and nearby smaller islands, Lomaiviti and Lau Group, the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. The outlook for Saturday, some showers over the southern parts of the larger islands, elsewhere brief showers. And to our shot of the day, Nawaka villagers in jubilation after the Fiji Sevens gold medal win last night, the moment captured by our very own Felipe Naikaso. And in Fijian Pulse, we ask, how would you rate Fiji's performance during the Olympic gold medal final against New Zealand?
It was a wonderful game. I enjoyed it. Lovely.
Oh, it was very good. First half was not that good, but when they replaced that guy who came inside from the second half, he was the good defense. And because of the defense, they really showed a game. Very good game yesterday.
Fiji played really well. I gave it 5 out of 5. Well played game.
Awesome, good, awesome, nice.
It was a wonderful game. The boys was very confident in their final and they worked together as a team.
Well, the 10 out of 10 on a scale from 1 to 10, already that's 10 out of 10. They made the nation proud. They won back the goal on a back-to-back basis. So yeah, thank you, Fiji team.
Recapping our headlines, Sevens gold is for Fiji, says Baber, struggles to second gold for our skipper, and Fijians unite to celebrate gold victory. For these stories and others, tune in to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, should those spreading misinformation be charged? Visit our FBC News website to take part, and you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our social media accounts. You can also download our FBC app to keep updated with the very latest in news and sports and listen to our 6 radio stations live. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanda.